morning with yours truly, Johnny Jules. I am down here on the back side of my property to check out the water, which you can see the dry creek is running. And then I've had people asking about that hole that I dug for the spring. No, I have not run the excavator yet, so I do not know if that's going to have a constant water source or not. But I can tell you this, after every rainstorm, this is what happens over here to this hole. I'm not sure if you can hear that water yet. Let me get closer. So this is the water running down to my dry creek bed. And all this water that's pouring out, you've got it. That's where it's coming from. That hole up there that I dug. So now every time it's dry out, this hole goes dry. Like I showed you before, all this crushed rock, this Wash River rock came out of this hole. I only got it down 3 foot, but after any rainstorm, and normally for about 3 or 4 days after rainstorm, this continues to flow and flow and flow and flow. So that's why I said eventually I'm going to dig 20 foot down here. I also have another spot that's even lower than this ground that I'll dig a hole back in there and eventually try to hit water. Now for the pond, I've had a lot of people asking me about the pond. Why didn't I go bigger? Why didn't I go deeper? Why didn't I put a liner in it? Why didn't I put bentonite clay in? A lot of those reasons comes down to money. One, you know, money is the root of everything to start with. The bentonite clay I didn't want to buy. Yes, you can buy some of it cheap. Liners are expensive. Digging the hole would have been more expensive. But I did everything the way I did it because it was a test pond. It was for ducks and geese. That's it. If it didn't work, I'd fill it back in or just leave it as a divot for rainstorms. But I wanted to see if it would hold water without a liner, without bentonite clay, without making a humongous pond. Now, eventually, I'm going to be doing more ponds when I rent the 420, I think, excavator. It's a 48,000 pound excavator is what I'll be running. That's what I'll dig this down 20 foot, put a culvert vertically to see if I can hit into the water table where it wants to gush water out like everybody's springs around me. But another reason, besides the money part, is if you have a liner in the pond, it's very, very difficult to clean out a pond. And this way, not having the liner in the pond, when I get the excavator, which is stronger than my little tiny tractor, that took me 2.5 days to dig that little pond. In 2 scoops, it's bigger than the pond that I dug with my tractor in 2.5 days. So with the liner, I couldn't do that. Ducks and geese and the end of the slip and slide. Yeah, well, they're still slipping and sliding in this mud. There is mud everywhere. But with a liner in the pond, I can't clean out the ponds, so I don't want to do that. 2, I want to be able to put ponds in and know that I don't need a liner, don't need bentonite clay, so that is why it was an experiment. And then 3, if I ever want to make any of the ponds larger, or like I said, the clean outs, I can go ahead, run an excavator for a day, clean out all the ponds, dig any ponds deeper if I need to dig them deeper. Don't have to worry about puncturing a liner or the liner in the way or trying to not puncture the liner. This way I know my ground will hold water. And as you see in the clip, the picture in the clip, the pond is almost all the way full. All the neighboring ponds around me have been overflowing, just like all this water coming out the ground. So I'm gonna hop in the side-by-side here, and if you guys want to hold on, we're gonna go down, check out the main creek where I get water at, because all the other creeks are just gushing with water. So let's check it out. For those of you that haven't seen, that green tree, the bands on that tree back there are going to be the one, is going to be the area I'm going to dig that other hole back there. Because that ground is probably a good 5 to 10 feet lower than where I dug. My neighbor thinks where I dug is the best area, but I want to try a couple different areas. It wouldn't hurt to have 2 different springs if I could have 2 different springs. And for those of you that don't know, just on the other side of these green bands is my property line. There's some orange down right there on that tree. That's the property line, and I just put it right here at the road so that way I can see exactly where my property area is. And we can actually come down here. I actually make a pit stop to show you guys update on what's going to be happening over here. So this is my neighbor's property that is getting ready to go on the market. Is what they're listening for. So right here you can see there's no water in this area, but this used to be a driveway that was put in a long time ago. So you can see the main trees are clear, just the ground's eroded, and then so I'm going to be putting in culverts here. I'm going to be going over that with my neighbors in January when they get out here later in the month. I'm not sure exactly when they're going to be here, but most likely it's going to be 3 4-foot tall culverts, 20-foot long, and all this, and probably. So for those of you that are interested in that side property, because but for all this flat land. Now this flat land has flooded before, according to neighbors, but this is all nice green grass pasture area that would be nice for the animals. But this is Cannon Springs over here, and like I said, the Cannon Springs has been known for a long time, and this is water trickling coming from my property down that dry creek bed. But this is Cannon Springs. It comes out from underneath these rocks and goes through here, and they made this big pool over there. It's like 10 feet deep or so. When everything's not stirred up like it is right now, where it's a little bit cloudy, that is crystal clear, and you can see fish swimming in it. And so this is a beautiful piece of property that, like I said, if I had the money or something, I would snatch it up, because it's right there against the back of my property and right against my other neighbor's property. So this is the property for sale. They own up over these mountains, down those mountains, and down that way. And then if I was here where this dirt berm is, I'd probably chisel in a little bit more, since this way behind me is facing south. Build a house right there over top the pool, and you probably could have a deck where you could jump in the pool. That's just my thoughts. So let's go up to the river. I'll show you, or to the neighbor's creek where I haul my water from, and go see exactly how much water is coming, not just from Cannon Springs, but down the mountainsides. So this is where I've been hauling water from lately. I've been having the generator water pump here, and then the hose is going down into the creek, and you can see that creek's already 3, possibly 4 feet deep already, and it's just flowing. So we definitely get a lot of water here. And then I had it planned on it, but I'm gonna go up and tape off some of my driveway that I'm going to be cutting in. So if you want to stay tuned, Happy New Year to you too, Sandra. Hope everything's going good over there in Europe. But I'm going to go up to my property over where I'm cutting the driveway in, for those of you that have been asking how far I made it with the driveway, and mark out some more for me to cut to get access up to where I'm going to build a house at. Yes, Serenity, that water sometime is 10, 12 feet big gushing area because we're down in the mountains. So luckily my neighbor cut a driveway up alongside my property, and that's what I'm going to use to get up to the other side until I have access to my property. My neighbor's letting me drive through theirs to get up and build mine. So this is, of course, his driveway that he started cutting in. Let me throw this down in low gear, but we'll get up here and I'll show everybody how far I made it on my driveway and how much more I have to do. Slippery. All these leaves. Oh, there goes a bunch of deer. Missed those deer. They were all sitting up here at the house site. But anyhow, for those of you that don't know, this is going to be the housing area where I'm going to build the house. You can see this is the entire valley and everything like that. So when I rent the bulldozer, I'll be flattening out a bunch of land up here. I'll be keeping the big trees. And then of course, like I said, over here is the cliff, and it just goes all the way down to the bottom. And like I said, that's where I'm going to dig the springs and try to figure out some way of pumping water up here or having to haul water, either way. But this is the view, and nice and peaceful, and deer come up here, everything else. The house is going to sit right up in this area, so that way I can overlook the sunsets, the sunrises. And then up here past this big tree is going to be the big duck pond I'm going to do. Oh, that zip line would be crazy. It's a 300-foot drop from up here down to the bottom of the property. So it's a sheer cliffs from the bottom. It's hard to see up here because you got to get up over the side to actually see the full drop. But yeah, I could do zip lines and things like that. Has your generator giving out, doing all that pumping? No, I got a, I think it's a 2-inch or 4-inch water pump generator. So they're made to move thousands and thousands of gallons in minutes. And I just use it to fill up this 125 gallon tank in the back. I do about 6 to 8 of these every 3 days to top off all the animal water. But no, they're made to move all that water, so I don't have an issue with that. So let's go check out the driveway, how far I got, and what I have left to do, because I won't be coming up this backside. My driveway will actually come up here to the house and have a like cul-de-sac. And now I still gotta come up here, get this trash picked up from somebody's garbage. So this is the driveway that I've cleared. This all used to be trees. Like over here, you can see all the dead trees that I cut, thrown to the side. So I'll bring the bulldozer through here, and then hopefully be able to bring the shed up here and get the shed situated. So this is how far I've done. And this is all by hand, just with the little DeWalt power Sawzall, because it's cheaper running through solid metal blades than it is with the chainsaw blade. And I'm only taking out small stuff, I'm not taking out big trees. So I got all the way to here, and then I'm gonna be parking, and I'm gonna start stringing out tape. I've got marker tape right here, so that way I can mark my way going down. And then the driveways, because this is going to the cliffside, driveway is going to continue down here and then curve around with the mountains, come down towards where the spring is, and then go back around on Purdom Lane, because this driveway will connect all the way to Purdom Lane, and then that takes you all the way back up. So it's definitely a beautiful piece of property, and I can't wait for spring to see everything in bloom. And of course, taking the views now, because I had no idea what any of this land looked like in the spring. If you go back to look at the video when I first got here with all the leaves, you can't see through any of this. It's a really thick jungle, thick forest, and got a nice little driveway going. So I'm gonna get to taping before the next rainstorm comes in, and then I'm gonna go in, lay in bed, watch some more TV shows, and relax. And I think we got one more day of rain tomorrow, and then Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I believe, is beautiful days, and then we go back into rain for another 2 or 3 days. So I'm gonna get to work. Hope everybody is enjoying their new year. Hopefully New Year's treating them better. I've already seen some stuff on Facebook, people going through hard times already, but that is life. You just got to deal with it, pick yourself back up by the bootstraps, and keep on walking through the woods. So have a great day, great New Year, and I'll talk to you guys later.